Hello and welcome to Teach Me English. This is your host Muhammad Sanaul Ansari, and today's topic is The Valley of the Spiders by Herbert George Wells, H.G Wells. This story is quite interesting, though when it begins it is quite monotonous, quite boring. But as it takes impetus, as it takes its pace, you'll find that the story would generate your interest to read further what would happen to the characters. Looking at this picture, I understand you must be very much scared. So imagine about the characters, those who would be in the valley of the spiders. What would be they applied their condition and how they must behave. You definitely would understand when I shall explain you the chapter. Now, let us proceed further. Herbert George Wells, prolific English writer, very terrific, very famous, notable, especially for his different genres. What is genres? Genres actually means categories. Categories in any field, but in literature especially. For example, somebody writes on science fiction, somebody writes on fiction, non-fiction. So there are different genres, different categories of literature you can find. But he used to write, definitely he is no more when he was alive. He used to write in different genres. Now, and then you see, he wrote dozens of novels, short stories, social commentary, history, satire, biography, autobiography. You can see definitely what he has left. He has written everything. He had touched everything. Now, then, let us see about his personal life. Like, he was born in the year 1866 in Kent, England. Okay, son of Sarah Newell, a servant, and Joseph Wells, a gardener. So you can understand how well his parents had trained him, nurtured or cherished him, that he became a gem for the world. Now, his first education, which he had taken, means early education in the school Thomas Morley's Commercial Academy, and his alma mater means the school from where he had done his further education, and the school which became his base was the Royal College of Science. He was a good student of science, basically of biology. Now, he wrote certain science fiction, for which he became very much famous, like this one, The Time Machine, Invisible Man, The War of the Worlds, and many more there. Now, his name was nominated even 4 times for Nobel Prize in Literature, though he did not receive, but his name was nominated. So definitely it's also a very great thing to be nominated for the Nobel Prize. Okay. In literature, he is considered as the father of science fiction. He wrote many science fiction, that's why. And then, unfortunately, he died in the year 1946, just a year before the India's independence. Let us first understand about some important word meaning, because when you will read the book, definitely you will get these words. Now, for example, the word like trench, big hole, it means fugitive, the person who has escaped from the jail, prison. Trail, a path which is left for someone to be followed. Silver studded bridle, as you can see in the picture how these studs are fixed. Desolation means a place which is abandoned, deserted, no one lives there. Gaunt, thin, slim, very much slim, skinny. Now, multitudinous, definitely when a sound or something is produced, when many people are there, and because of the activities something is produced. Here actually in this story, it is a sound. Herbage means vegetation. Somber, dull and gloomy, a silent place which does not give you any happiness. You feel looking at it quite sad. Haze, thick cloud of like your mist or fog. Slump means you feel heavily because of sleep. You won't be able to open your eyes and you won't be able to sleep properly. You're feeling heavily because of sleep. Crested or rise. Crested means that something or somebody has reached at the top of something. Swerve, Swerve means here that is to move not in a straight path or wander here and there. You don't have a particular direction to go. Gallop means fast pace, definitely of horse, like horses, they run very fast. So for them, the word gallop is used. Another animal, quadruped. Thistle down, as you can see in the picture very well, you can understand it's something like cotton, and it's part of this flower, thistle. The squealing sound of pig. Pioneer. It means that something or somebody who come forward to show the way. The person or the thing become pioneer. Here the word is used for those white cotton or white ball, a white fluffy ball. Grappling ribbons. It means grappling word has come for holding something. Ribbons means you know very well. So here what happened? The cobweb it stretches and it holds, as if like by holding the cobweb you can hold something back. So this here, but here it is used as a verb and it means the movement of something forward and back. Squat bodies means small bodies. Swathe means to bind something, means the cobweb, it has completely covered the body of the horse. Encumber means that is it was so heavy that unable to get up, so something, some burden on you. Gesticulating, the word has come from gesture, means doing some action or doing some motion to reveal something. Gossamer. Gossamer means cobweb. Gossamer means cobweb simply. And ravine means very deep and narrow gorge, you can say, a valley. This is called ravine. And precipitous means steep slope, very steep slope. Gnaw of knuckles. Gnaw of knuckle is actually come here. This expression has come here for the expression of nervousness, but it also has the action where you break your knuckles and the sound comes out. That is also called gnaw of knuckle. Characters. Basically, there are three characters, and one character which I have used here, fourth one, it is the name taken by these three characters. Three characters are here, like one is man with silver studded bridle. He is the master, that's why he has this opportunity to have silver studded bridle. It shows his rank. Gaunt man, a thin man, and little man with the white horse. According to their appearance, these names are given. Now, and the fourth one is the fugitives. Those, basically one girl is there, with her there are other people, and she is a dark skinned girl, and the story is like that the king of the place, he used to do trade with these girls. In the story, what is the occasion? That three men, these three men are the three soldiers, three pursuers, and they were chasing the fugitives. Fugitives means those people, those who have escaped. Place, it's a valley, a spacious valley, broad valley, okay, which is having dry riverbed, means completely dry. It's a summer season, and this place lacked what it lacked, that is vegetation and even no human existence. Okay, and the place is dominated by spiders. Okay, let us now proceed further and let us understand in detail about the story. Now, so we have seen that when the story begins, what happens here? We have seen three pursuers are there, and they came to the valley. Why? And it's even a midday. Remember in the mind, midday. When they came there, they were chasing some fugitives, and in that fugitives, a dark-skinned girl is prominent, and actually they are in search of that dark girl. But unfortunately, that girl was bleeding. Unfortunately, it was bleeding, and the condition was very poor. What happened? They first came to the place. They walked on some trenches, means some low land, okay, and then winding paths here and there. They moved. After that, they climbed on the hill, so that from the hill they could see the whole valley, or they can scan the whole valley. As I've written here, scan the whole valley in search of the girl, so that if it possible, that they would be able to see. They would be able to see the girl, get the girl. Master is the man with silver studded bridle. second in the rank is Gaunt Man, and third in the rank is Little Man. Remember this thing. So Gaunt Man, who is second in the rank, what he spoke first means till they started searching. Now when they came to that hill, at that place, the first person who had spoken was the Gaunt Man. He definitely, when he started speaking, he said that they were wasting their time. It was a matter of disappointment, and he said that they couldn't see the girl nowhere. Nowhere is the word taken from the book. Nowhere they could see the girl. So definitely they thought that they were wasting their time. Now, then what happened? The man with silver studded bridle, what he had done, he was a master. He accused the white horse. What happened? Actually, what happened here, that Gaunt Man said to the master that we would have reached to this place faster and earlier if the white horse, meant the horse belonged to the Little Man. He claimed that the white horse could not do its work properly, and the white horse was slower than the horse. So because of the white horse, the problem arrived and they could not get their prey. Listening this, the master became angry, and he accused the white horse of the Little Man, who was third rank now. And what happened? Why? Because the white horse was ill and not as fast and strong as the other two. That's why they have accused the white horse, and in that term they have also accused the Little Man, who was also quite lazy. Now, they argued, all of these three people, they argued. What they argued? About the fugitive. That the fugitive were on foot. They did not have any horse or anything. Not on horses, and the girl was bleeding on the foot. So on her foot. So this was the discussion happened there, and they understood that these people, they must not have escaped this valley. They must be in the valley. So these three pursuer, they have to search them, or they have to go on continuous search for them. They again marched toward the valley to investigate, to see where they could find the girl. Okay, investigating the trails, the path which those girls must have followed, which had sparse thorny bushes somewhere. Sparse means very less, thorny bushes here and there. The place lacked what? The vegetation and the scorched dead straw. The straw, you know very well, which we must have seen cows eating straw. The scorched means completely dried straw. They found some traces. Now they got some traces. Traces of what? Of fugitives. They got some traces. So they would be able to chase them. They would be able to grab them. Here we have the traces. What are those? The grass was bent and broken. So they have understood somebody must have walked. And there was a brown blood stain, because mixed with the mud it became brown. So brown blood stain. They have understood it must be a blood stain. It turned into brown color because of the mud. So they got a specific brown blood stain, a specific trace, because the girls, she had injuries on her foot and it was bleeding. There was something uncanny about the valley. It was as quiet as the painted scene. So definitely those pursuers, especially the Little Man, he was quite afraid of all these things. Now, what happened here? No noise, except the noise of the hooves of the horse and some equipments. They must be having, definitely one is sword, other must be shield. So the equipments, those equipments were making sound, and the hooves of the horse. Otherwise, no other sound, not even the sound of the air. This kind of environment was definitely a kind of heaviness. It brings a kind of heaviness inside, and definitely these people were searching. They were in search for these girls for 4 days. What definitely the condition must be very much poor. The master and Gaunt Man, they were active. They're constantly searching, but the Little Man was in a dreamy state, a very poor condition, and was about to give up because he in the book you would find that at certain places he fell into argument with the gaunt, not with the master, with the gaunt man, that why they were here, why they had to listen to the master always, why they were searching these girls, those who did not have such great importance in their life. So this little man was quite frustrated, and he did not want to march forward, but he had to do since his master was there, and he was quite afraid of his master. Even when they were talking, suddenly what happened that little man, though he was sleeping, he was dozing, sitting on his horse, and what happened suddenly, he found that his horse was about to be collided with the gaunt man. So he woke up, and it was seen by his master. So definitely he must be very much careful, and he woke up. In this tiresome riding, the gaunt man noticed that something was approaching toward them, and that was a dog. A yellow animal, means a yellow colored dog. He was approaching toward them. It seemed like he was afraid of the wind. Though the valley where they were riding, there was no wind, but the wind was also approaching toward them from the front. Now what happened? So the dog it came running, and it was running in such a way like it did not notice any of the three men, and it ran past beside the little man, and it seemed like it did not notice anyone. At that time, the little man also noticed. What he noticed, that is, the behavior of the horses was different with the increase in the strength of the wind. The horses were also afraid of the wind, as the dog was, and he noticed that there was a line of hogs galloping down the valley. You can see the picture, understand this animal, hog. And all of a sudden, they had noticed a flying soft and shining white balls like fluffy cotton flying in the sky. Many, not one, many. Then again they noticed one more thing, that a boar, wild pig, a boar, it also rushed past them, squealing, shouting. All of the three had seen a very big white ball approaching them. Though it did not have the shape exactly, they call it a ball, but it did not have the shape like even a sphere. From somewhere it is bulged, from somewhere it is flat. That's why. But the description of the ball is given: vast, big, soft, ragged-like, filmy thing, very thin. Aerial jellyfish, which is flies. Aerial jellyfish you must have seen in the water. They have understood that the valley was covered with these white balls, but they did not know what these white balls are and from where exactly those white balls were approaching toward them. The master told them to be brave, and they must march forward because they had to search those fugitives. All three started marching, and what happened suddenly? They had seen a long and sticky thread, and a sticky thread fell across the face of what? Of master's face, a long and sticky thread, and that thread is actually a cobweb, and it came across the master's face, and master did not notice this thing. Even a gray streamer, streamer meaning you very well know, but that those waves were floating like the streamers, gray streamers dropped about his brittle arm where he was holding. It means those streamers are dropped first, those waves are dropped first, and then the spider would come down, maybe from the tree, or maybe certain places are there from where they would come down. So it happened here, but the master did not see. All of a sudden, from the back, the gaunt man slashed his sword over those cobweb, and master even did not know about it. It was understood that there was some creature, and that must be spider. Why? Because they had noticed many legs, because the descriptions are given here that the dense crew, not one, dense crew, 100,000, many such creatures are there. Dense crew, you mean to understand very well, it is used for the soldiers. The squat bodies, the small bodies crew with many joint limbs. Okay, that's what he had said. So it means spiders were there. Then all the three men seeing those spiders, they could not control their humor. They could not understand what to do at the time, and definitely they behaved frantically, madly. Little man, first of all, little man, what he did, he slashed his sword aimlessly anywhere. Just he took the sword and moved here and there so that he would strike at those cobwebs, but he was moving aimlessly and there without understanding. The gaunt man's horse, it fell down, and the gaunt man too. Definitely, the horse fell down. He was sitting on the horse. Definitely, he must fall. But what happened? Both of them fell. The horse was wrapped in the grey, means cobweb. It was wrapped in the cobweb. Suddenly, at that instance only, the horse tried to get up, but it could not. And then the gaunt man, he took out his sword because he fell and took out his sword, and he tried to defend himself. But unfortunately, both the gaunt man and the horse, both were sweated. Sweated means bound. They were bound by the cobweb, and they were encumbered, means burden on them of the spiders. The gaunt man shouted for help, but the little man and the master, both of them did not help him, and they left him to his fate. The little man, seeing the condition of the gaunt man, he was unable to control his emotion, unable to control his fear. What he had done, he whirled past, means he could not stay there. He ran away from there and left the master alone at that place. The master was also in great anger. The master, what he noticed, that he noticed a clinging thread of grey gossamer. Gossamer means that is again causeway, swept across his face. Again, some threads sweeping, moving across his face. Cobweb drew near to him. He understood his condition would be like the gaunt man. So the master, at that time, he took out his sword and swirled across overhead so that those cobwebs would be struck and those cobwebs would fall down so that he would be able to save himself. He used his sword, and then he took his horse and rode heedlessly without understanding where he was riding or at which direction he was riding. Now, then what happened? All of a sudden he came to a place where it's end and the ravine is there. In the ravine he was about to fall, so he controlled himself. He jumped out of his horse. He got a bruise on his shoulder, a small bruise on his shoulder, but he was able to survive. But his horse fell down in the ravine and the horse died. So he was without the horse, and at that time the condition was very poor. He had to run from there because he had seen many balls floating in the air, and those grey gossamer and all the cobwebs, even the spiders were there. So he ran from there. He first of all took shelter somewhere. At the end of the day and with the approach of the evening, the wind stopped there, and so the movement of the cobweb and the spider also stopped there with the approach of the evening. Though he was there hidden, he was sitting there hidden, that first of all what he did, he climbed down the ravine slowly, and then he took shelter behind some rock. The ravine where he took the shelter, the spider, they did not go there. Unfortunately, one spider fell down. What he had done, he had seen one spider, so he had crushed it under his foot. Then he stayed there, waited there. What happened? He waited there for the little man. Little man came, both of them had conversation about each other cowardice. Both of them were claiming each other. Why did not you save the gaunt man? That Little man asked the master. The master also became angry, and they had a heated conversation. Little man was continuously accusing him of being coward. So he, at that time, the other than situation was little heated, and what happened? The master overpowered the little man and killed him. He gave a blow to him and killed him. He took the opportunity and he took his white horse. This is the same white horse whom the master had accused, had abused even. So now he had to use that horse and escape from that place. On the way, he thought that he must go back and he must help his horse. But what happened here? He was frightened. No, that he understood that if he would go there, he would see his horse unpleasantly eaten by the spiders. So he did not get the courage to go back to their place. And then what happened? He thought himself that the condition of the fugitive must be the same as his fellow men, means they must have died. He thought this. As he was approaching toward his city, what happened? He saw a little spire of smoke, line of smoke he had noticed. So he understood that these people, the fugitive, must be there. But to satisfy himself and also to inform this thing to the king, he remarked what? That the smoke did not come from the place where the fugitive could be hidden. So he made himself satisfied that the smoke, definitely though it's coming, but those fugitives must not be there. If they would have come to this valley, definitely the spider must have eaten them. So fugitive must not be there. I hope it is completely explained to you, but please go through the book, then only you would better understand it. First of all, read the story carefully and then watch this video, and then see what means. Definitely you go and open the description box, you'll get their question answer, a PDF of it. We would meet again with another video. Till then, thank you very much. Goodbye.